Cassandra.
Yes.
I never even.
I'm super into habits and how we incorporate habits into our lives and into our just because we are our habits in everything. And as entrepreneurs, it's even more important that we incorporate our habits. But I find that when we understand like these different things, and if we can reflect this onto our caregivers, it's going to be super and powerful. So for example, Cassandra, to just one small thing to what you're already doing is adding to your standard operating procedures as a caregiver, is that when they're walking into that house, before they knock on that door, before they enter, the habit that you create. So habits are based on a cue, and then what the actual habit is, and then the reward. And so what can happen is if you have your cue as, hey, right before you enter your person's home, you look at your badge and you read your core values.
Yes.
Or you could even say, just read one of the core values. Pick a core value that you want to really make sure that you represent that day.
Yes.
And so now it becomes part of a habit that you're putting onto them. Hey, every time you walk into the home, this is what I'd like of you. Right before you do it, I want you to look at the back of your name badge, and I want you to read one of the core values and think about how you can present that as you walk into that home. And so now you're creating a habit around your core values so that they are consistently being implemented and being reminded, and so that when they show up right into that home, they're showing up in the best possible way that directly represents what your core values and mission is.
I like that, Nick. I hadn't thought about that. The core values. So we always say kind of, check yourself at the front door. So whatever you got going on at the front door, it stops. So, all of our clients, like they can read your emotions, your face. So your emotions, it's important. It is communication. So, straighten up your face.
Yes.
And we check it at the door. Once you cross that threshold, right? Right. There you go. That's it. That's it. But now I can say, look at your core values, review your core values, and maybe pick one for that day to focus on.
Yes. Another thing you could do too is
that.
In incorporating this too. So I don't know if you guys meditate or familiar with anything of that standpoint, but
big time. Every single day. Every
love
day.
it. See, Cassandra, this is
every
great.
Day.
These are things that can be part of your orientation. Teaching meditation to your caregivers can be a powerful tool. And so one thing, and if they are meditating, then this can be super powerful, is right before they walk in, the first step could be take a deep breath, then read your core values and then enter, or read your core values and then take a deep breath and go in. And that breath can make an incredible impact, because what you just said too, Cassandra, and I want you to really think about this too, in regards to hey, what's going on in your life? You got to just you got to leave it at the door. That's not always, that's easier said than done. That's not always an easy thing to do. They could be having lots of problems, problems with their kids, their spouse, their parents, whatever it may be. That's not an easy thing to do. However, taking a big deep breath before can actually help with that process of leaving it at the door.
I like that. I like that. I will be incorporating that immediately. It's very easy to do. It's very simple, and I like simple.
It is simple.
Take a deep breath. Yes. And I understand the chemistry that happens when you take that deep breath. What happens psychologically? This may be, this is weird. I actually have, I am actually a certified breathologist. Did you know such thing existed?
I did not know that.
I didn't know that.
I mean, I know a
So
lot of
there,
people that do like breath coaching, breath
mhm,
work.
mhm.
And I've done some different breath work myself. There's a Wim Hof, if you've ever heard of.
Oh yeah, the cold and water and the
Yeah,
yeah,
he's the
and
he's
how
the
he
ice.
got
They
there,
call him the
the
Ice Man.
depression. Yeah,
Yeah, his wife committed suicide.
yeah.
Wow. And so did he get into this after his wife's suicide?
Yeah, he was
Yes.
struggling with depression and didn't want to feel that way, and so then he
Yes.
started putting himself in like really intense situations, like super extreme colds. And as he was able to build up basically a strength within himself because he's able to handle the cold to that extent. And now he's like broken records, and he's done all
Mm.
kinds of different things with like being in the freezing cold. But he also does like breathing techniques. So there's like a Wim Hof breathing technique that involves like expelling your oxygen. And then you're like, take a deep breath and you hold it in. There's like a whole process, but it helps you
Yes.
to kind of clear your brain and all these things that kind of go into this aspect.
Mhm.
And I think so, Cassandra, this is so cool that you brought this
Mhm.
up, because this goes into this ties into everything we're talking about within company culture and you specifically. So here you are, you're a breathologist, right? Did I say that right?
Mhm.
Yes.
And so that can be a training that you give to your caregivers. That
I
can
had
Wow.
be,
never even thought about that.
But that's an awesome idea.
It
Wow.
not to mention,
is.
this could be great content for anyone that's watching.
Mhm.
Maybe potential prospects, caregivers, referral sources,
Yes.
right, Cassandra? And are you an expert in this? It seems like it.
Wow, of course I am.
So do you see, not only, so let's take this one step further. Do you see how something like this would, okay, so because again, hey, time is money, right? Okay. So what is this going to accomplish? Okay. One, this is now caregiver training that you're adding that's going to help them perform better in their job, perform
Mhm.
better care, overall increase your bottom line with them implementing this. Number two, this is going to help them in their home life. This is going to help them with dealing with stress in general. Caregiver is a stressful job, and incorporating meditation has proven to decrease stress. Okay. So now your caregiver is going to be happier to show up at work. They're going to be less stressed. That's going to help them provide even better care. Okay.
Yeah.
Not to mention they're going to associate these feelings with what you've done with them, which is going to increase their retention, that you've taught them this amazing skill that's helped them. All right. And so that's from the caregiver perspective. Now you're going to be creating a video that talks about using breath work to decrease stress. And you may even share an example of how your caregivers do this. And you talk about this on your social media page. And so now anyone who
Nice.
watches it, whether it be caregivers who are looking for jobs, okay, or your referral sources who are like, man, Cassandra, this is awesome. I started incorporating this in my life because I'm a social worker and my life is stressful. And now every time that I do my meditation work, guess who I'm thinking of? Cassandra.
Yes.
Wow. I never even, I've been certified for a while and never even, and I thought it would just be like another certification that I would just like use benefit because it was something that I did not necessarily.
Cassandra, how selfish of you to
Wow.
keep this knowledge to yourself.
I had no idea. Wow.
So
This
what
is
have you used the certification for since you got it, Cassandra?
really pretty much for myself and extending. So I am a certified yoga teacher as well. So I taught yoga for a few years. Currently I practice Bikram yoga and we're really into breath work. So I
Yeah.
use it really in my personal life actually to kind of, help, with respect to stress level. As a matter of fact, I was in the car today on my way in from work on driving into work, using some of the techniques, the deep breath, the deep inhales, and understanding the reason and the purpose for it. So anyway, so that's what I saw. I've actually really been using it really primarily just for self-improvement.
Amazing. Cassandra, do you think your caregivers would like a yoga, maybe some yoga instruction as well?
I don't know about that part. I don't know.
How would you know?
That's true.
What if your
I've
caregivers
never
are watching a training with you when they're not working?
I
Do you think
hadn't
that
thought
that would
about
help
that.
with retention and you being able to aid them in other things of their life and their personal development? If you've had success with yoga, how has yoga helped you in your life and your personal
Oh,
journey?
I can't even. It's been tremendous. As a matter of fact, that is like that's my outlet actually.
And so do you think that your caregivers could potentially get results similar to what you've experienced through yoga?
I'm certain they could. I'm certain they could if they showed up. Absolutely.
All right.
It'll be
So do you,
free.
yeah, so do you see how you can incorporate basically think about it like this, and this is kind of ties into what we've already talked about too. Everything that you know, that you've learned, that you've experienced is unique to you, and you have skills in incorporating this knowledge. And any of this knowledge that you've learned can then be shared with your social media audience and or your caregivers so that they can get the same value that they have gotten from it.